Also, success in any endeavour cannot come from approval that you get from others. It has to be internally directed. You have to be so strong within yourself that no matter what feedback you get from other people, you will continue to work towards what you want to work towards. Like, if somebody is looking for approval from others, they don't tend to get it that much. But when people don't care about approval and they couldn't give a damn about what anyone thinks, they get so much approval. They get more approval than somebody who's absolutely amazing. Like, have you ever noticed a woman who's not that attractive with a man who's very attractive? Or a man who's not that attractive with a woman who's very attractive? How do you think that happens? That happens because that person is not externally driven. They don't need anyone outside of them to tell them that they're amazing. They have that self-confidence, they have that self-belief within themselves, and that is the foundation of success. See, a successful person will face their fears, and no matter what it is, they will face their fear. You know, whether it's a fear of heights, or it's a fear of driving a car, or if it's a fear of the dark, they will face their fear. A more self-confident person will be more inclined to face those fears and to put themselves in situations where they get over those fears, and what happens, those fears fall away and they go. Whereas somebody who's not so confident will have loads of fears, and the reason why they have more fears is because they haven't put themselves in those situations. And the more you put yourself in situations where you don't feel comfortable straight away, the more you'll start to feel comfortable in those situations. I went to a seminar the other day and there was this speaker, and he was saying that he did not feel confident the first time he got on stage. I couldn't believe it. This guy who's so confident, who's so successful, did not feel confident on stage. I found that impossible to believe. Whereas somebody like me who is confident on stage can have that stumbling block. So it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how confident you are. In any situation, you have to have the willingness to step up and do something which pushes your boundaries, which makes you feel fear. Because everybody, I don't care who they are, I don't care how successful they are, I don't care how much money they have, I don't care what position they're at in life. Even politicians, you'll see, have situations which make them feel uncomfortable, and they feel fear. You can see, if you watch politicians having a debate, you can see the fear. They feel the fear, but they work through it. They don't allow that fear to stop them from being a politician. And no matter what you do, a politician is a perfect example. People are going to love you and people are going to hate you. You could be the nicest person on the planet, but people will still hate you. Some people will. And a lot of people will love you. You can't please everyone. And that's the biggest lesson for people to learn, that no matter how lovely you are, you have to just accept that some people will not like you. And that's where certainty comes from. Certainty comes from not caring about what anybody thinks. And I don't mean that in a negative way, I mean that in a positive way. You care about your family and your friends and the people that you're close to and the people that care about you. But when it comes to strangers and people that you see in the street and people that you interact with on a daily basis out of necessity, you have to not care about what they think. Because if you don't care about what they think, you're going to be able to focus on what you need to do and move towards where you want to move towards. But if you're constantly worrying about what some other person thinks, you're not going to be able to be yourself. And being yourself is the best way for you to be happy and to get to where you want to go. Because when you're yourself, you're attractive, you're charismatic, you have all of this stuff which attracts people to you, because when you're yourself, you can attract people who are like you. But if you try to pretend to be someone you're not, you will attract people who are nothing like you. And then you'll have to continue to keep up this facade of being somebody that you're not. And confidence is not something that you are born with. Contrary to popular belief, there's this nature versus nurture theory. People say that, you just are confident, or you just are an emotional eater, or you're not an emotional eater, or you just are fit, or you just are good at playing the piano, or you are good at whatever. But the secret is, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And that's it's as simple as that. It's not complicated. It's not complex. There isn't this like 16-step checklist to check through to see if you're naturally good at whatever. Because if you do something repetitively, you will become good at doing it. And obviously there are some things which some people just can't do. Like for instance, if you've got 2 left feet, i.e. if you don't have, like you naturally don't feel the rhythm, it might take you a long time to become a good dancer. And you might never be as good as some of the most amazing dancers, but you could be a reasonable dancer. If somebody's got a really bad voice, they could have an okay voice, but they might not have an amazing voice. So these things, although we're all born with them, there is some predisposition, but not as much as we think. It's probably only 30% of what we actually think it is.